This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details. Just in case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barrero's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
All right, top of the 5 o'clock hour, top 5 at 5. Luigi is back. It's shocking to find out he's in the house. He's in town on a day where we've been largely in the 40s. And it's been very rainy, but my assumption is you'll be out of here pretty soon.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
Come back to take a physical. Yeah. I've got to go to Florida Saturday for a week, and then I go to Hawaii from there.
Which island this time?
The Big Island. I have a conference.
Oh, yeah. So the Big Island, that's where you've been there. Is that always where your conference is, or is this a different conference?
No, this is a different one.
Of course. Yeah. Well, there's more than one conference. I should have known by now. Guardsy, what do you think? Here, where do we want to start?
Well, I'm wondering, have we ever gotten to the bottom of why the Four Seasons in Maui doesn't have an ATM in the lobby? Because I know that really bugged you a couple of years ago. Has that gotten rectified?
I bet it's gotten taken care of.
I'll find out this year.
Yeah. We're going to need to make
There's always another trip to find out. Yeah.
How can you not have an ATM?
Yeah.
I know everything goes cash free.
That's it.
Let's start with the Vikings because they are the A topic. The quarterback situation, the Carson Wentz surgery, which we learned about yesterday. The first time KOC spoke publicly about it was today on the Paul Allen Project. It's part of the Vikings X's and O's kind of simulcast. He joins PA during the week. If you miss it, you get another shot on Wednesday nights right here at 6:30 all across the Vikings audio network. But one of the things they talked about in this 2.5-minute clip was everyone on the same page on Thursday night, and even going back to the Cleveland game or the games following. Once Carson Wentz got injured, was everyone, the head coach, the quarterback, the medical team, on the same page with the plan?
Yeah, and I think it's very, very important that the dialogue with myself and the player always takes place after the dialogue with the player and the medical staff, and then the medical staff making sure that 100% Carson is capable of continuing. The circumstances really had not changed from the time he sustained the injury kind of late in the first half against the Cleveland Browns. It was really just, the ability to just tolerate when certain types of hits or falls on that shoulder happened, the pain tolerance. And that's where Carson had made the determination that he wanted to, fight and really play as long as he possibly could. And there were some times there in the second half where, as a head coach, you're looking for confirmation from Carson and the medical staff that he's still good to go, and you get that. And ultimately, you want to do what's best for the player, and ultimately give him an opportunity to kind of, as long as medically you're in the clear, you want to make sure you give that player the runway, especially with the kind of toughness and determination that Carson had to kind of finish the job. And you're right, we don't ever, our game is one where you're always a player or two away from either getting back in the game, even off of, Josh Mattel's interception, and we score that touchdown. You're really thinking one stop and then you get one more. That's how we think. That's how we compete. That's how we've been able to come back and win a lot of one-score games, by having that mentality as games go and as games kind of come towards the finish line. You find a way to win a football game, and if you're ever in this business and thinking that you are not playing like that, you're probably not you're not in the right business, and that goes for coaches and players, and that just speaks to who Carson is. And but PA, and there was never a point in time where medically we were going against the grain of what was in Carson's best interest, and ultimately what Carson ultimately wanted to kind of see through. Until he ultimately made the decision that he wanted to get it fixed, which have so much respect for not only the commitment to play as he showed, and many of the things he did playing on the field for our team, but also that when Carson said it was time and he wanted to get that thing fixed, we wanted to make sure that we were in full support of that.
Louie, you're a very competitive guy. You were when you played. You have been all your life in a number of different ways. I can't tell you how completely I disagree with the head coach. I think there are times where he's talking about doing what the player, what's in the best interest in the player. There is not a person in the world who will convince me that what the head coach did was in the best interest of Carson Wentz in that occasion, given the degree of pain he was clearly suffering and feeling. I don't care how badly he wants to be out there. There are moments when a coach who's responsible takes the pressure off that player and takes him out of the game. That guy should not have been playing in the fourth quarter for me, period, end of story. What do you think?
Well, it's not that I want to second-guess the coach because, like you said, I've played in difficult situations, so have all my teammates.
Right.
But the phrase that you just used, in the best interest, he had that arm so, protected, so to speak, and yet it still didn't do any good. And I think you do need the other arm. If he didn't need the other arm, then I understand that. But I think you need the other arm if you're trying to run away from somebody, give him a stiff arm, whatever. I don't believe he could have done that.
Good point.
And of course, I wanted to see Max get in there. So, but he fought like crazy to stay in there. But he was, I used to say to the players, if you're going to play with an injury, you have to play with this one thing in mind. The people that pay to watch you play believe you're capable of playing 100%. They don't know if you're hurt or not, so they can't give you a pass because you really got a bad groin, but you're out there skating. So when you go out in the field, even if you're injured,
right,
it's not the fact that you want to play injured. You owe it to the fans to tell them that you're playing at 100%. That's the thing I was went by.
I'm still, the whole thing is just bizarre to me. I don't, and I don't deny that the doctors may have said, doctors can say whatever they want. You know how this works in leadership. You're the head coach. Ultimately, you can make any call you want, and it's not going to be, no one's going to judge Wentz as, well, he walked away, he was wimpy. They saw what he was dealing with. The game, to me, when it gets to Louie to 34-10 with about, 10 minutes to go in the fourth, the game's over.
That's what I was saying.
The game's over. So just at that point, now they did pull him late. It was much later. I think it was 2 minutes to go, that last drive. So I just shake my head. For me, the alibying that's done here, I don't believe it. And I said this the other day. If Mike Zimmer does the same thing and continues to play Wentz the way that KOC did, he would be getting drilled by media people. They would be inhumane, stop with the old school nonsense. For some reason, KOC is allowed to skate on this. I don't get it.
Well, the decision was made, as he's trying to say right now, that it was, and of course the player agreed with it, which he's going to do.
He's going to do, as you know, most competitors.
But I just think what you said, when it's 34-10, you have to say, how are we going to come back? Is he capable of bringing him back? We all know it's not 100% because you could see it.
It's another great point. It's, even if you don't want to concede, what does he have left in him? If he is literally wincing in pain, crying for God's sake, how is that guy in that environment, no matter how tough you want to be, how does he give you any chance to come back in a game that is probably hopeless because of your offensive line situation, whether you have Joe Montana or Fran Tarkenton in his prime at quarterback under those conditions?
Freddie Freeman led off the bottom of the 18th inning with a solo home run. It was the first run scored in over 10 innings in Game 3 of the World Series. Just reading the box score here. The box score's got some great numbers. Dodgers led 2-0. Toronto scores 4 in the top of the fourth to take a 4-2 lead. The Dodgers tie it up in the bottom of the fifth. Each team scores a run in the seventh, so they're tied at 5. And then they go 10 scoreless innings. Toronto used 9 pitchers. The Dodgers used 10. Shohei Ohtani, 4 for 4, couple of dongs, 3 runs batted in, was walked 5 times. Reached base 9 times. All 9 times that he was out there. What else do I want to get to from this game? How about Freddie Freeman? Just 2 for 7 with a couple of walks, but one of them, well, actually 2 of them being big home runs. The last one, of course, Mookie Betts, 1 for 8. You feel like Toronto's like, yeah, we'll live with Mookie Betts, 1 for 8. But with the Dodgers, they just keep coming and coming and coming. To put it in perspective for Luigi, we'll put the time, it was over 6 hours, and it ended at 2:50 Palm Beach time, Louie. 2:50 Palm Beach time. The sun would have
I already looked at that.
Yeah, it would have been about to come up. 11:50 Pacific, 2:50 a.m. Palm Beach time. And now it's game 4 tonight. You get to go take a nap, maybe have a quick meal, and come back and play game 4 tonight with Ohtani on the mound. Pretty compelling stuff at Chavez Ravine last night.
How much time, Louie, have you been to? I assume you've been to Dodger games at Chavez Ravine.
No, I haven't.
You've never been to a game there?
I haven't.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I would have figured on one of the
and
trips out there.
I should have, because Dodgers are my team in the National League. But I've never gone to a game.
It is. Now, I haven't been there obviously in years and years and years and years, but it is. It's just it's a great ballpark and a great backdrop. Obviously, you got the palm trees in the background. It's a wonderful scene, and of course they've got everything and we've got nothing. Payroll of $500 million, I think, whatever, and they're still making money. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, they mean
on Ohtani alone, they're making money.
That's incredible
because of the international ramifications of what he represents. So,
well, the Toronto manager made one mistake. He should have walked Ohtani four more times.
That's it. You're exactly
probably do that
right.
tonight.
Great point.
I think Ohtani.
Yeah.
You might as well just call it the Ohtani rule: one pitcher, or just say you can go to first. Don't waste time.
Stop being so prideful.
Yeah.
Right? Don't think we got to compete. We're here to compete. No, not against him.
If you want to be like Dan and listen to the game on the radio, you can listen ESPN Radio
on the iHeart app.
The very free and very easy to use iHeart Radio app. You can make ESPN Radio a preset right next to the Fan, right next to the Timberwolves channel, whatever you want. Speaking of the Wolves, they fell to 500 last night with a 127-114 loss at home to the Denver Nuggets. We know Ant did not play. He's not going to play tomorrow. He's not going to play for a week or two. Nikola Jokic did play. He had a triple-double. Jamal Murray did play. Scored 23 of his 43 points in the third quarter when the Nuggets wrestled control away from the Wolves.
They did.
They led by 8 at the half. Jaden McDaniels scored 25 points to lead Minnesota.
They still got ripped by Finchie after the game.
Not playing good enough defense.
Yeah.
Neither's Rudy, apparently. Rudy was great opening night, by the way. Had like 50 rebounds.
Here's what I want to know, and I know their analytics exist for this. If he's not playing as well as we'd like, or the head coach would like defensively, I wonder what our analytics stats are. The sophisticated stats on our defensive efficiency when he's on the court,
Rudy,
versus our defensive efficiency, off the court. Because even
staggering.
if he's not as good as you want him to be, the numbers have tended to be absurdly worse when he's not out there.
Second Dane Moore drop of the night. He put a video out about that, I think, this morning or yesterday.
Did he? Yeah.
Just because it's always
right.
It's always like 10 points per possession less, or 10 points per 100 less.
Which doesn't mean he can't play better. I'm not here to say that Finchie's wrong, but it's just interesting because I just right now I don't know that I'd put him at the top of the list. I don't. Who knows?
So it's another national TV game, 8:30 tomorrow. The Lakers are in town. LeBron is out. Luka is out, and Anthony Edwards is out. So get ready for the Austin Reeves show and the Julius Randle show tomorrow night at Target Center. You can hear that game on the Fan. Go ahead, Louie.
Before I go any further, and Kevin Fallness calls you, when you're seeing beside the app, not just the Timberwolves games, the Wild games, they're on KFAN.
They are?
100%. Okay. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, you don't even need a different channel. You just go to KFAN.
Exactly. They're usually on KFAN.
Yeah.
The Wolves aren't always, so that's why the Wolves have their own channel. Wild, when they're on, they're on. They don't have to worry about
precedent.
the channel. They get precedent.
We don't even have to tell them that.
Okay, I'll tell Kevin you're okay.
Yeah.
Well, he won't believe it.
No, he doesn't care. He hears what he wants to hear. 2 men and a junk truck want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. You can enter the keyword credit at KFAN.com. Go to KFAN.com and enter the keyword credit.
I have an idea on how to save the Minnesota Wild from themselves. My guess is our in-studio guest will laugh at it. He'll say it's not practical. I'm not even sure he would disagree with it. But he'd say at this point it might be impractical. I'm going to run it by Luigi. We're going to talk about his own impressions regarding the club. We'll get into a couple of interesting pieces from Russo Radio about some of our defensive issues from a physicality standpoint, and who knows what else. Questions for Louie, observations, 64686 is the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line.
Well, she sneaks around the world from India to Carolina. She's a sticky-fingered filcher from Berlin down to Belize. Take you for a ride on a slow boat classic China. Tell me, where in the world is Nanne?
Watching this Wild and Rangers game, and whoever this commentator is like the chillest dude on the planet. Like, he's borderline putting me to sleep. I don't know who this guy is, but okay.
That was a callback from last week.
I think we got to play it every week.
We might have to make it part of the tradition.
I think I need to play it before the music. I think I need to, like, that needs to be the walk up to the music. I think.
Might be right. Kemp's
the chillest dude on the planet.
Helps bring Louie to us each and every week, and a lot of good texts and questions have indeed come in. In fact, here's one. What do you think of this, Louie? Why would the Wild invite Gabrick back for tonight's festivities? He left us, didn't like it here. Will he get booed? Thanks, guys.
I don't think he'd get booed, and this is their celebration of 25 years. Yeah. You can't
hold grudges forever.
Grudges like that, and he was a very popular player when he was here.
Yeah,
and sometimes Gabrick's not the only guy in this marketplace that's asked for a trade. I mean, if Kevin Garnett came back here, I'm sure they'd welcome him back at the Target Center, and rightfully so. It's something. He's a tremendous player, probably next to Kaprizov, the best player the Wild's ever had. So they should do it.
That's true. You're probably right about that. So that's very philosophical of you, very humanitarian. So you're rising above any, resentment, any lingering resentment that the average fan might have for saying you didn't want us anymore. Gabrick didn't want us anymore. That's what you're saying?
There's been a lot of athletes that have gone through here that
it's
have
the
done
long
that, and
view
they welcome
here.
back. I mean, we've had coaches that have left and come back.
That's also true. That's a very good point.
So,
Wild Insider, I don't know if you've read it. It's Russo and Joe Smith. Here's your headline. Lack of physicality is costing the defense. We have to be harder. Through Sunday, the Wild defense ranked 24th in the NHL with 48 hits in 10 games, 49 behind the league-leading Vegas Golden Knights. There's a lot of ground to cover there. You can question the validity of some of the stats when it comes to what do you define a hit, whether, some of that might be misleading. But regarding a supposed lack of physicality, do you agree with that? Do you think that is a troubling trend, at least early in the season, or what do you think?
Well, first of all, you hit the nail right in the head, because I spent about 10 minutes discussing hits with Mike Kelly, the analytical guy for the Wild from FanDuel, on the last road trip that I was broadcasting the games, because I go to games and I get the stats after, and I see so-and-so had one hit or no hits or 5 hits. And I'm saying, I didn't see that guy hit a guy and he's got 5 hits. I saw this guy hit somebody. He's got 1 hit. He should have 4. So each place, it's how they determine hits. But having said that, Russo and Smith are right. They're definitely not physical enough on the blue line. And some of that is understandable, because you can expect Boyum, for instance, and Spurgeon not to be big body checkers. But overall, even if you're not, everybody has to take the body when they have occasion to do so. And, and it's not just the physicality part of it. It's what it brings to the game. It eliminates, when you use your body, when you hit someone, many times you eliminate them from the play or getting back in the play. That's the important part that you don't see. It's not just that, my team's hitting, my team's doing that. You're hitting effectively means you are eliminating the guy or delaying the guy from getting back in the play, or having the puck turnover. And the Wild, I had lunch with Russo today, and I have to tell you, he told me about those stats, and I said, not surprising. It's just a little surprising. I think maybe they were a little light in how they determine the hits, but they definitely aren't a physical defense.
Here's a quote from Guerin in this piece I want to get your reaction to, because part of what Russo and Smith acknowledge is you can't expect players to suddenly become Pronger, Stevens, Hatcher, etc. And the quote from Guerin, you can't try to turn somebody into that. Like, if they don't have that in them, it's not going to be natural. What you want them to do is to be highly competitive and use the size to their advantage. We don't need David to kill guys. If that's in your nature, then okay. But if it's not, if you try to change guys, you're always going to be disappointed. So there's something to that too. You can't be what you're not, right? I mean, that's, but then maybe that gets back to, well, the personnel decisions you make in terms of are we paying enough attention to those issues?
Well, if Russo was
Physicality.
sitting here, I think this is how he would answer it, and I think that he'd be answering it correctly. You're not asking someone to kill anybody. You're asking them to play the part of the game that they play. And checking is part of the game.
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
It's like I used to say to play, you don't have to go there and fight, but you have to go out there and hit. There's a difference between you have to fight or you have to hit.
Yep.
Hit means checking. Checking is part of the game.
It's a great point.
And by the way, checking is the easiest part of the game to learn. When that and passing, you can take one or the other as being the easiest. A lot of these other things are difficult to do because you're playing on skates, but checking, just making contact, should be the easiest thing to do. If you got the puck and I'm there, I'm going to hit you one way or the other. You can learn how to hit better. You can learn how to hit harder, but it doesn't take you anything to learn to just make contact.
All right. What are you seeing right now? Right now regarding the Wild, what concerns you the most? Is it that or is it something else?
Well, what concerns me right now is they need more balanced production than they're getting, and I'm never going to tell somebody how to run the club. Everybody runs it a different way.
Sure.
What you're doing.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm asking you.
I'm thinking right now what I would try and do personally is just change things up. Get a different thought process in the locker room, even if that meant making a deal. If you can make a deal, it's harder to make deals, yet you never know. The one thing that I used to enjoy doing when I was general manager is I was on the phone every day, just either trying to make a deal or trying to kill somebody else's deal that I found out they were trying to make, because it affects where we need to be in the conversation. But I would look around the league right now if there is somebody that we could add that could change the complexion of the team just a little bit. You make coaching change, and that's just a little bit of a change right at the beginning. That's something that for some reason or other gets rewarded and wins right off the bat. And you just want to get the engine going again. It's like putting gas in the engine, and how can you start it? And maybe there might be someone. I had lunch, as I said, with Russo today, and I says,
at your place?
Yeah, at Tavern 23.
Okay.
Enjoyed
Makes
the
sense.
new meatball sandwich. It was fantastic.
Nice.
And I said to him, I'd look around and see if there's anybody in the league that's having trouble themselves, and maybe just try and change things up. Sometimes it's just a change of scenery for two players that can work on it. He said, well, Shvetnikov from Carolina hasn't got a point in 8 games. I says, he'd be my number one target, because that guy's had a history of playing. He is a power forward. I like the way he gets involved.
Yep, right.
And he said he's got a no trade clause. I said, yeah, no trade, except they'll say you're going to be playing with Kaprizov. Okay, I'm going. So
yes,
you
right.
got that to use. And I said, I don't know what they'd want. Maybe be too much what they Wild want, but
you'd investigate.
Imagine if there was a deal that would be made. They're just changing the face, changing that. All of a sudden, a different air comes in the locker room. You get just a different vibe, and who knows? I'm just saying, hopefully something could just change up, because you do have to change. No matter what anybody's talking to you about, everybody says the right things, but you have to change the mindset that might be there, but they're not.
So you don't think it's too early to do that?
Oh no, I think early is always the best. Before you get any other
early
teams
gets
involved
late pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, because every game
builds on itself.
Everybody can say it's early in the season, but the points count the same as at the end of the season. You can't get them back.
That's it.
And if you get yourself in a hole, sure, people have dug out of a hole. And big hole. St. Louis won the cup when they were last about in January. But I don't want to be the guy trying to do that the second time. You know what I mean?
What was the age, or what is the age, of the oldest really successful National Hockey League coach?
Scotty Bowman.
And so, how old was he?
He was in his 60s when he won a cup, I'm sure.
That's the oldest.
Yeah, he might have even been 70. Scotty's my age. I know he's older than me, I think.
You want my idea on how to fix the Wild?
Yeah. Get Scotty?
No.
No, what?
Get Jacques.
Oh, yeah. And Jacques.
He's only 80.
Well,
he's a youngish 80.
Yeah, but
why not bring Jacques back? He's the only coach that made it work here, Louie.
But
let's be honest about it.
Okay, but
You're a big Lemaire guy, or were?
Yeah, I am. I love him. First of all, he's never going to go back coaching. And
What if we made him an offer he can't refuse?
You can't. He's got everything he wants in life.
Can we let him coach from Florida?
Right now I think you got to give Hines a chance to get these.
Well,
guys
it wasn't even
going.
meant as a rip on Hines.
No,
I still meant when he came back. Was it last week or the week before for the big reunion?
Yeah, he's wonderful.
I still miss the guy.
So do I.
I loved that guy. I didn't really get to know him all that well, but I just thought he understood the game.
Well, he does.
He was sharp. And I know people thought the style was boring and it was bad for the league. All I know is they won with him. And they've never since won the way they did under him early in the team's history.
Well, the people here didn't think it was boring. You never get tired of winning.
Never get tired of winning.
You never get out of a game with them. That's a good part.
They take
and
the
you don't
boring
need
now.
a lot. And you definitely. And you don't need a lot of scoring when Jock's your coach.
That's the beauty of it. Yeah,
He's
fundamentally sound.
He teaches
demanding.
how to check so well and demanding. Yeah. But he's very
Plus,
happy
I love his voice.
Florida. So do I.
His voice is just the best, isn't it, Gargi?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Lemaire voice.
Of course.
There's just nothing like it.
I wish Corey Coastal did our Jacques more
I
on
do
the
too.
morning.
I do
He was
too.
so good at
He
it.
was excellent at
And
it.
he's got the great little smirk,
Yes.
No, he's.
So is he even advising anybody at this point? Or is he just?
No, because Lamerolo got fired.
Okay, that's right.
And he was advising. He was advising Lou from his rocking chair in Anna Marie Island, watching on TV. That's what what he said to me. And they were very close, and he enjoyed it. But Jock is the type of guy, when he says enough, he means enough. I've had enough, and that's it. That's very
That's
easy.
exactly right.
He has the power of his mind is make a decision, live with it, and I'm very happy with the content. There's no second guessing. I don't know if I've ever talked to Jock or watched Jock or seen Jock when he second guessed something. That he's done.
That's it.
He's a firm believer in it. Right, wrong, or indifferent, I'm living.
Well, you know him a lot better than I do, so I don't remember the term. My recollection isn't that he screamed at everybody, but he was firm. I mean, there was never any question who was in charge. It seemed like he had the ability to just be hard guy if he needed to be, but not necessarily a guy who's ranting all the time. Those are the best kind of disciplined coaches, I think.
Well, he coached like Sonmore's famous line that I love the best. You can play like that, just not here.
Yeah, that's perfect.
You'll be going somewhere else.
That pretty much
and
says
that's
it all.
what Jock was. That's how he was. He was very, very decisive, and everybody knew, as you just said, how he felt, what he expected, and is he happy or not.
Lemaire aside, can the trap work with our team?
Let's put it this way. Good defense works with all teams, but at the same time, good defense always has somebody that, for some reason or other, breaks it down some way to get opportunities. That's what hockey's all about.
That's true. That's a great way to put it. In fact, Paul writes, Louie's ideas are brilliant. Louie should be a consultant for the Wild. Why doesn't Guerin hire you as a consultant?
He's got enough consultants. They have enough. They got such large staffs today. They got all the people they need.
Okay.
Even Leopold has financial restrictions. They can't afford Louie.
That's good. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, you'd be too demanding.
You got to give Kaprizov $17 million.
Is the stats still true that Kaprizov has not scored an even-handed or a full-strength goal, or does that worry
he did
us?
with the goalie out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, right. That's true.
But he set up a lot of even strength goals.
He did. He has done that.
He's
That's
not a
undeniable.
one-dimensional player. They never said Connor McDavid hadn't had he hadn't even had a goal, but he had a number of assists. So it happens to everybody.
So what? Our penalty kill is awful again. I think our power play started great and it's kind of receded.
Mm-hmm.
But I think our penalty kill is one of the worst again. So in your history, in your experience in hockey, what is the key to establishing a legitimate penalty kill?
Well, there's a few things. One, you don't want to give them good, clear shots from the best area, the slot area. So you want to keep the puck on the perimeter. You want to limit the passes to go through the box area. And your goaltender's got to be able to make stops. And you have to, as best you can, let them see the puck, clean the front of the net, and take care of rebounds. There's a lot of things you have to do, but the good teams do it. They do it well, and I still think, where I think the Wild are going to make an improvement We haven't seen it yet, but they have Boldy, for instance, out there killing penalties. Rossi, we're going to see some short-handed goals. I really believe that, because at least when they get the puck, you feel good about their chances if they want to take an opportunity, getting a shot on net, and shots produce goals.
We talked a little Gophers last week, then we got swept, didn't we, over the weekend? I think we're now 2-5-1.
Yeah.
You mentioned last week we lost a lot of people. You got to think long view, but same thing. I mean, do you worry about it's getting late, kind of early, kind of late, or late, kind of early, whatever the cliche is? Are you starting to worry?
Well, I'm not worried, because I never expected them to be at the top of the heap this year. I think that I'm more interested in seeing how they grow and having the opportunity to become a much better team. They have skill in the team. The one thing that you can teach young people, as I said, you can't teach them to score, but you can teach them to defend. And so when you talked about Lemaire, even though he didn't have scoring, he had always a team that defended well. So I think that, you have to look at the Gopher hockey team as how are they improving in their defensive play to limit the opportunities, limit the goals against, because they do have people up front that have a history of scoring, so should continue to have opportunity to score and score goals.
Yeah.
And as in any sport, you got to start defense first, and you got to start your own zone first. If you're not taking care of that, if you're giving up too many good opportunities, you can't win. Eventually, you're going to lose.
No question about it. Guardsy, do we still have? Wasn't there one of the famous Lemaire, not our Jacques, but one of the famous Lemaire soundbites we had was about worry. About we wake up, we worry. Do you remember that one? Do we still have that one anywhere in any of our button bars?
Well,
do you know the one I'm talking about?
Yes, it was
really a good one.
It wasn't on the button bar. If you look to your right, you will see it is the liner that we will be playing into the next break.
Oh, okay. So it does exist.
It exists
as a liner,
and people will hear it about 5 minutes from now.
Let me ask you something also that is not necessarily related to hockey, Luigi. Glenn Mason joins every week. In fact, he'll be in here tomorrow. Is he back or is he going back to Fargo? I can't remember what the deal is.
I think he's here.
Week. I think he might be here.
Yeah.
So last week, I mentioned to Mace, I say, one of the great things Louie did with us over the years is we had the Legends with Louie series, where occasionally he would help us get a big name guy like from hockey, like Scotty Bowman, Phil Esposito. You go down the Tony Esposito, Dryden, the whole bit. Kenny Dryden, exactly it. The late great Kenny Dryden. And I said, you know what? You should do the same with us. Like, get Barry Alvarez. We'll have you on with Barry Alvarez, legends of college coaching. You know what May said? Why should I do that for you guys? Why should I do your job for you?
Yeah, the quote was, that's not my job.
Guardsy should, that's up to Guardsy.
You know what you should have told him?
What's that?
He's got 3 dogs that are looking for a pen. Maybe his girlfriend could house those dogs. You get a new client.
Maybe that's the answer. I just was like, I said, if we wanted to find the difference between Luigi and Mason, that's it in a nutshell.
It is. I know, it's a miracle they've been friends all these years. That's a great idea. Let me do that. I'll use my standing. Yeah.
We don't have that kind of standing. We acknowledge that. And I thought Mace would feel honored. Like, hey, that's okay. I'm going to do that. And he couldn't have been more sarcastic about the whole bit.
You know why?
So no Alvarez, apparently.
Well, and I did.
Did you try to make an overture?
And I've got some good inroads.
Really?
We're working on it.
Oh.
We're working through some contractual things.
I see.
Which I think are a little silly, but we're working through those things. The thing is, Louie likes to hear. First of all, Louie likes talking to his friends, right?
Yeah,
like
that's
Louie,
right.
Louie got a lot out of it.
That's the biggest difference.
That's a great point.
Louie did it in part because he had questions. He wanted stories out there. Louie enjoyed it, I think, as much as we did. I don't want to speak for you, Lou, but you seem to. And Mace doesn't want to spend his hour talking about other people.
That's great.
Isn't that the bit? Isn't that one of the distinctions?
That's also the box. Yeah, that's very true.
If we were to give him a second hour, maybe he would share it, but his hour he wants to be about himself.
Well, here's the question, because there's a part of me that says if you find a way to land, let's say Barry Alvarez, the next couple weeks, that whenever that you get him, we tell Mace we don't need you this week.
We got somebody else.
We got somebody else. We're booked with Barry Alvarez for the hour.
And we talked to Bill from Jack's Cafe. He thinks it's great. Carrie Limo loves it, so we're good.
Then that would change his tune.
Yeah.
At that point.
Well, J.J. McCarthy, and we'll put him on the bench.
That's it.
We'll quiet bench him.
It's a possibility.
I kind of think you're right.
Yeah, that might be the way we have to go.
Or we'll let Louie come in and talk to him.
Well, that's another way to
That's
go
what
for
we'll
sure.
do.
That's no doubt. The Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line is 64686. This is from Larry Mondello guy. Louie's advice for the Wild sounds very familiar because it seems like basically what he's saying is change your face, be happy, enjoy. It's the famous Ricky Rubio soundbite that we play. But I think part of what you're saying is you have to help them change their face.
Oh, yeah.
It's not to go in and say change your face is probably not going to be enough. You got to give them the impetus, correct?
Yeah, you got to be the leader. There's if you're going to conquer anything, you have to have somebody in charge,
right?
But the opportunity's there. Everybody wants to win, and they want help. They should want help to get out of it. At a time when you're in a situation where you got some real problems, I can't understand why there would be anybody who wouldn't want some advice on how to get it better or do it better or change something. And many times it might be just changing a little thing here or there for them. Many times it might be completely changing the style of play where they're playing. But it's almost like a lifeline when you're talking to people that need help and you come up with a different idea.
Absolutely.
All of a sudden, I can tell you this. We were playing Toronto in the playoffs, and that's when Murray Oliver was coach, and he came down and he says to me, Louie, you got to get on the bench. We haven't beaten Toronto all year long. You got to come down and take over as coach. And I hate coaching. I don't mind coaching a game, but I hate repetition. But I went to practice, and I'll never forget because I said, look, every time I see Toronto, this is the way they play in the offensive zone. This is how they check you. So we're going to do this little thing differently. And we set up a little tweak, set up a play, and this is how we're going to come out, and this is going to give us a break. We might even get a breakaway. Well, when you know it, third shift of the game, we pulled it off. We did a break, we went down, scored, and Ronnie Freest, who was standing right beside me, stood up and yelled, and he turned around me and he said, "It worked! It worked!" So all of a sudden,
music to your ears.
Yeah, and it just then was.
It can change everything. It can galvanize a whole bit. Yeah.
We beat him 3 straight. It was just terrific.
Sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes
take much,
it's just a little thing.
It's creativity. You got to come up with it,
and you make people believe.
Right. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. If there's just something, that works, that people can hang their hat on, the doubt that they are feeling, the way they're playing, or something might change. That's all I'm saying. Is find something to just change the attitude or change the thought process that the guys are going through.
One more break and then one more segment with Luigi. Any questions, as I said, I'll try to get to as many of them as I can, whatever the level of hockey is you want to talk about or something else. 64686. Back with more Luigi.
Back with you. You can join me again this Sunday, Gray's Food Hall, for a Purple Watch Party. Playing Detroit this Sunday at noon. Gray's Food Hall, downtown Minneapolis. It's awesome. You can enjoy a bunch of great food, plenty of James Beard nominated chefs, plenty of drinks, and enter for your shot to win awesome prizes every quarter. Get all the details at KFAN.com, keyword calendar. Would love to see you at our watch party, Gray's Food Hall, Sunday at noon.
Text coming in out of Grand Forks. This is from Kurt. And Kurt is curious, Luigi, to get your view regarding the purported NBA gambling scandal. It was a big federal investigation. You got a fairly big name player and then a Hall of Fame coach implicated. Now, the Hall of Fame coach, it seems to be more about this his part in this poker deal. Although there's also some indication that he may have been, even though he's unindicted for this, given some information about sitting some of his players. So from afar, what are your impressions of this? Is it the tip of the iceberg? Do you worry that we're headed in an ever more dangerous direction regarding this, given the degree to which sports leagues and betting services have kind of gotten in bed together? What do you make of it?
Well, first of all, I'm extremely disappointed. I can't believe that people making that kind of money that were indicted would even think about doing something that's going to enhance them by extra money. They got enough. I don't see the reasoning for it. And right away, somebody came to me and said, I hear that there's an investigation coming on hockey. I says, I haven't heard that. Yeah, there was some guy. I said, look, let me tell you one thing. If it's a guy, he's got to be a goaltender. Because if you don't if you don't fix the goaltender, it doesn't matter who you're pulling out of the lineup. I've been in games where we've got outshot 45-15 and won the game. and if you don't take the goaltender out, that's the only guys you can investigate, because the other guys,
Sure.
It ain't going to happen. So I don't think it's going to be coming more and more. The only place I always worried about it was in college, because college players weren't getting money, and they could get money. A big guy could, they could affect the game by, going stone cold. And if he's averaging 22 points a game, now he's getting 2, it's going to severely affect it. Plus throwing the ball away, et cetera, all that. But I can't think that there are that many stupid players in the world, and that they have a need to do this. I don't know if this is conceivable, because it's such a big part of so many of these gambling outlets, but there's been a lot of talk about, at the very least, you have to try to discourage, or if possible, eliminate the prop bet. Because as you know, the prop bet in basketball is it could be as simple as he's going to miss his first shot, or the number of minutes he's going to play. It doesn't have to be fixing the game. That's right.
And that's where this stuff is almost impossible to police. Now, in some states, they've outlawed prop bets involving college players. They've not made the step for pro. I don't know if it's conceivable. If all you're doing is you're going to drive all the prop bets underground to illegal betting, I'm not sure. But to me, that's the biggest rub right now. In the NBA, it's load management. That's one of it, sitting players, tanking. But the other part of it is just the prop bet, which can be one play. It came up in baseball, too. You're betting on a pitcher's second pitch in the third inning of his starting performance, that sort of thing. So would you like to see, if it's practical, the prop bet be eliminated, or have pro sports try to band together to say, we got to root this out as much as possible?
Well, that's where I agree with you, because that's the betting that you can't fix a player or something. You take Fox, and every Sunday when they got Saquon Barkley's going to get over 86 yards. This guy's going to catch and go for 120 yards passing. Those kind of bets, that should be outlawed. That is gambling running the telecast. There's no need for that at all. And
I don't even think it's that interesting.
I don't think it's that interesting, but what bothers me is the effects it could have on people. First of all, you always worry about, can people afford to even bet? You go to a casino and you see a lot of guys sitting there, and they sit there for hours, and you wonder, how can you make it? You feel bad about it. If they don't have the willpower to walk away or limit themselves to loss every time they go to a casino, well, what worries me on those prop bets, it starts developing the gambling syndrome. And now you start, all of a sudden, you win. I won $300 today. Well, next week now you might be betting $500 because you won $300. And now you start getting in, I lost $500, I got to get it back. And I always tell somebody, just go to Vegas, look at those pretty buildings. And I said, you think they're building those because people are winning? And I said, and I told one of my grandsons, well, I played when I was out there, I won some money. I said, you didn't win it. They just loaned it to you. You go back, it's been loaned to you, and you're going to give it back.
And more.
Unless you realize you're not going to end up winning.
That's good advice. This is from Izzy, our old friend Izzy in Vegas. Many of us consider Al Secord the most hated player in the history of Minnesota sports. Does Louie have any good Secord stories?
Yeah, I might have told it years ago. When I was going to sign Dino Cicerelli, I went out there and I talked to the newspaper man. His name was John Harrington for the London press there in London, Ontario. And I said, tell me about the Cicerelli kid. I said, I'm really impressed how he scores goals. I says, and the way he competes, is he like that all the time? And he said, Louie, he said, we had a situation earlier this year where he scored a goal, and we put the picture in the paper of him scoring. And in the picture was the goaltender. He's beating the goaltender, but behind him was Al Secord. He said, Secord and he have had this thing going all year long. Secord was playing for Hamilton, and Cicerelli's playing for London. And he says, he came down, and he came to the paper the next day, and he says, John, can you give me a glossy picture of that? I need by 10. So I ran one off for him. He took the pen. He says, hey, dummy, isn't this your man you're supposed to be checking? Put it in an envelope and send it to Secord. So that started way back there.
That's pretty good.
And then when we played in Chicago, the night before we were going to Washington to play the All-Star game, and the All-Star players were going to visit the White House the next day. We're sitting on the bus, and it was in Washington. The team is going over to practice. And the night before, Dino had gone out in the third period, and he got hit in the ankle with a shot, and he was out and he's sitting in the first row with Sonmore. And Secord gets on the bus, and he says, hey, Dino, how's the ankle? He's, you a-hole. He says, you don't care. What do you care? Don't give me that bull. So there was never any love.
Oh, my God.
With Secord.
Yeah.
And Dino even off the ice.
Oh, that's pretty good. So it kind of developed over the years. That's pretty good. All right, you're on your way to Florida first?
Yeah.
And then the Big Island?
Then to Oahu. Big Island's Kona.
Oh, Oahu. Okay,
Yeah.
I got you. That island. I got you.
Yeah.
And because somebody had texted much earlier, they want to know what your health secret is, and the timing's good, right? Because you just had another like unprecedented physical at Mayo,
that's
correct?
Right. Yeah, my doctor told me that.
So give us the quote from your doctor, what he used to say, and how he amended it.
Well, the last 4 years he was telling me I was going to live to be 100, and yesterday Walt Wilson, who I've had for over 25 years or so, and he said to my wife, look at this, and he turned the screen around, and he said, look at it, I'm going to just show you the last 13 years. Nothing changes, nothing moves. This guy's going to live forever. So I said,
well past 100 to forever.
I said, Walt, he says, just keep doing what you're doing. I says, drinking a lot of wine. He says, keep drinking.
Don't change anything.
Don't change anything. He's such a remarkable doctor. I mean, he's a very good friend of Joe Mauer's, by the way, and he's a person. He's more than a doctor. He's a very close friend, and it's great when you get that kind of relationship with doctors because they're going to talk to you, as all of them would, honestly, but more in a family way that you're going to. They really care.
Yeah, that helps.
And he really cares.
Absolutely, for sure. Guardsy, you were going to say?
I'm just thinking, if you really live to be forever, you're going to have to add more wings to the cabin.
Yeah,
you're going to need more.
That's true.
And you could have, I'm lamenting, I'm actually mad because you could have been the chillest guy on the planet for 75 years on the state hockey tournament instead of just 50.
Yeah, that's it. See, there you go.
But I'd have to drive in the snow.
That's true, too.
They would have figured it out. I'm sure that the River Road would be fixed one of those years.
So next week from the road with us?
Right. I'll be in Florida next week.
Florida next week.
Right.
We'll chat then. Great stuff as always. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Nice to be with you guys.
Always good to be with you in studio.
See you in March.
For sure.
Yes,
we'll see you somewhere down the road.
Yeah.
That's it. That's about it. Let's make this the top of the hour pause. Let's talk a little bit about the breaking news regarding the Target Corporation. Some more details coming forward today. We'll get into some of that and who knows what else when we come.
Final segment of the show this evening is presented by American Pressure, commercial-grade pressure washer since 1975.
It's the Bumper to Bumper Show Wrap.
I forgot. It turns out we aren't going till 6:30 tonight. We've got Vikings programming to get in. And so we'll be out, in about 10 minutes from now, something like that?
About 6 minutes from Mark.
Ooh, man. All right. Well, then I probably waited too long to get to... Could you find the Calendar of Calamity soundbite? Because I did tease it earlier. I want to at least touch upon it.
It's the Minnesota Sports Calendar of Calamity.
One of the most underrated calamitous moments in Golden Gopher football history... maybe underrated in part because it goes back all the way to 1989.
Oh, yeah.
Was when we blew a 31-point lead against the Ohio State Buckeyes. This was at the Metrodome. I was at this game. I chronicled this game. I remember it well. We end up losing 41-37 in the final minute of the game. Gutekunst, I believe. I think Goody was the coach at that point. And among the shocks of that game, Ohio State turned the ball over in that game. The Buckeyes did 6 times. Not 9 times, but 6. That's a lot. And they ended up coming from behind to win it. The Gophers were up 31-18 heading into the fourth, led by 11 with 5 minutes left. And then the Buckeyes scored 23 points in the fourth quarter to take the lead with 51 seconds left. That's not to be confused with, another one of those calamitous stunners. It was the Zach Kustok game against Northwestern in 2000 on this day.
I remember it well.
We blew a 21-point lead in that one and lost to Northwestern at the buzzer on a Hail Mary, 41-35.
I just walked back into my house for like the final 2 plays.
Right?
I was listening to it, Ray Christensen on the radio.
It was, and I've told the story before. I've tried to get Mace going before that. The Kustok family stopped one summer in Dinkytown to talk to Glenn Mason. He was looking for a place to land, left-handed quarterback. And Mace was not interested. Now, Mace has said since he didn't even remember the story that way. Bottom line is Kustok ended up going to Northwestern and
worked out pretty well
for him, at least on that occasion. And then another underrated one, Vikings related, goes back all the way to 1984 in Archie Manning's first start as a Vikings quarterback. He was sacked 11 times by the Chicago Bears. And, of course, the 85 Bears a year later. The 84, they were already good. 85, they were incredibly good defensively.
But the doctor said he could do no further damage to his shoulder.
That's exactly it.
He was fine. He was fine.
11 sacks. That's a lot. When you get to double-digit sacks.
Yeah. One for every player on the defense.
That's pretty remarkable. The Target story is not good. More than 800 Target employees laid off today. And the Star Tribune has a story. And maybe we try to delve into this a little more deeply tomorrow. I would like to hear from folks who might have been affected by this. The announcement was that they would restructure and eliminate 1,800 positions, with about 1,000 losing their jobs. And one of the things they explore in the Star Tribune is this notion that that it's an example of the way the corporate environment works these days, which basically is layoffs have become more impersonal.
Yeah.
Because in part the rise of remote and hybrid work, where employees may meet colleagues only a few times a year anyway. Sometimes there's no warning at all. Apparently the online system they had was not particularly effective either. Some people could hear, I guess, on the call. Some could not. More detail on that tomorrow, but obviously devastating news for a lot of people who are without a job at this point, and it's Target and it's local. And we'll try to get maybe into that in a little deeper on tomorrow's program, which also is Kessler Day, I'm assuming.
Mason Kessler, yeah. Kessler
and
will
Mace
be back.
as well, and Barry Alvarez.
Maybe.
Well, who's to say?
Maybe. The Target thing, I know we'll talk more about it. I just couldn't stop thinking about it this weekend because the whole news was they tell you we're doing layoffs. Right?
Yeah, that's
I know there's no good way to do it. Our company, Lord knows, we've been through a million of them, right? In the time that we've been here. There's no good way to do any of these things. But to say, by the way, Tuesday, everybody, we're going to be sending out layoff notices. So enjoy the weekend, and we'll let you know what happens Tuesday.
Well,
it's just really tough.
And worse, they get the email at 8 telling him we got a 9 a.m. audio call with Human Resources.
Man.
And according to several outlets, the audio did not even work for about half of the employees. Oh. So that in itself is inexcusable, and it lends credence to, well, it's colder and more corporate than ever. If it's the old deal of you got to do what you got to do if you're Target, you got to at least, one would think, come up with a better approach. People are not going to be probably satisfied with what they hear, but at least have the courtesy to give them a chance to hear it, for God's sake. And apparently a number of individuals were not even able to follow through and get proper audio quality on the audio call. Appreciate the calls today, the text today as well. Seifert in studio at 3:30. We thank him. And a great hour, as always, with Louie, Luigi, as we like to affectionately call him, between 5 and 6 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Vikings country. Is that next? No.
It
Vikings
is.
Uncensored. No,
Vikings country.
Oh, even better.
And then Wild Hockey.
Even better. We'll talk to you tomorrow beginning at 3.
Thank you for the memories. Thank you for the great time. We love you, Dan.
Well, go Twins. Thank you for the airtime, and I'll talk to you soon.